Jesus brings freedom. John 8, verse 36. So if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. Once again, in the season of Christmas, I'm really rejoicing in my freedom. So why do I symbolize Jesus with freedom? That word just came to mind just like that, because I was actually a prisoner for many, many years. So quick background, I actually come from a Christian background. In fact, my dad was a Dutch Reformed minister, so I grew up very 100% in Sunday school, church, weddings, funeral. That was my life. And I got the stamp of being a Christian, and it was a duty. Church twice Sunday, Bible meetings, prayer at night, etc. But okay, to skip a couple of years, so you might ask, what was I a prisoner to? It wasn't anything that anybody would classify as bad. In fact, it was actually quite a very ordinary situation. I was a prisoner in and to myself and to a relationship. And let me tell you, it took me 20 years to actually come to the realization that neither myself or my partner or anything could fulfill my needs and expectations in this life, and it couldn't sustain it either. So 20 years is a long time. And even though I was in that relationship and we were functioning as a normal family of 4, we had a wonderful life. We drove lovely cars. We went on fantastic holidays. We went on overseas trips to exotic destinations. We lived in a beautiful house overlooking the Knysna Lagoon. I mean, you would say life actually couldn't get any better. But I felt it was just odd occasional moments of happiness, but realized afterwards that as I look back, that I was actually functioning in a permanent state of being empty, unhappy, angry. I was extremely angry all the time, frustrated, hopeless in my future, and I was actually just lost. I was unable to experience true joy and beauty. So I left this man in 2010, and strangely enough, not entirely because of how I felt. It was just that this man wasn't prepared to give me a commitment to the relationship. So I moved to Cape Town with 2 beds, a coffee table, an old carpet, and one of those old big TVs. That was literally all I had. I thought this was enough to change things for me to now move. But from there, it was a continuous roller coaster, and I was like a tennis ball between Cape Town and Knysna, and him here and there. It was just living between 2 worlds. I prayed a lot, but I prayed for the wrong outcome. I even tried to fill that void with another relationship. This went on for about 6 years. 6 years of being between highs of short-lived happiness and lows of crying on my patio, nights and nights in beautiful Paradise Kloof in Stellenbosch. And I had conversations with God, and I just, and every time now looking back, God just came back every time with a very stern and firm no. He closed those doors time and time and time again. So learning to trust when God says no is actually for our own freedom and joy. So Mother Teresa said just about praying and praying. She said, I used to pray that God would feed the hungry or do this or do that, but now I pray that He will guide me to do whatever I'm supposed to do and what I can do. I used to pray for answers, and that I did, but now I'm praying for strength. I used to believe that prayer changes things, but now I know that prayer changes us and we change things. So when the penny dropped for me was, I remember the exact same time in my townhouse in Coral Road, in my upstairs bedroom. At that time in Milnerton High School, there was a lady who came and she preached on that God knows everything about your heart, like everything. And I felt it was such a strong message, and I actually sent the podcast to this man, and I asked him to just listen to it. And when I was on the phone with him and I said, did you listen to this podcast? He said to me, I started listening to it, but this woman's voice really irritated me, so I stopped. That specific day, that specific time, that moment, it was crystal clear that I knew that if you sin or if you're in the wrong situation, if you keep on making the same decisions, you go in circles, you're going to just get the same outcome. And I knew that I had to just do something that will, I had to make a decision, but not again just inwards so that I can go around in circles. But I knew I had to take an inward decision and an outward declaration and an outward action. And it was then that I decided to be baptized. I was baptized on the 24th of April 2016 by my daughter Fiona and Brett Anderson in Milnerton High School swimming pool. And afterwards, Jeannie George read the following scripture over me, Proverbs 3:3-6. Let love and faithfulness never leave you. Bind them around your neck and write them on the tablet of your heart. And further, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. My golly, how many times for years, probably like 26 years, I was leaning on my own understanding. So, and submit your ways to Him and He will make your path straight. At that moment literally changed my life. When I came out of that water, it felt like a thick layer of water just ran down and stripped off everything that kept me in chains. That freedom was just amazing. Do I still have feelings for this man? Yes, I do. A lot. Every day still. It's with me always, and that will probably not ever change. But there is something and somebody much more important to consider now. And Jesus gave me freedom, and I could never in this lifetime let go of that freedom.